Well, that was unexpected. Well, my dear resin monkeys, welcome to the last video of 2025. This year has been long and each project that I've done has been nothing but pure chaos. So I thought, why don't we put on the brakes for a little bit so that I can catch my breath? Now, this is a very special video for several different reasons. Bear with me for just a little bit because I need to yap about very important things that I need to explain and share with you. We know that YouTube has been rolling out AI features left and right on this platform. Now, I'm not particularly fond of any of it, but unfortunately I can't do anything about it. One of the features that they recently launched back in August was the restricted mode. This is a feature that is allegedly turned off on each and every one of our accounts individually. However, people have been reporting that this feature was turned on and they didn't remember doing it. What does this feature do? Well, it basically hides videos that you can see on this platform. We as creators are not aware of when this AI hides our videos. We actually have to check ourselves and turn on restricted mode to see. Nobody knows what this AI deems appropriate or inappropriate to label our videos that way because they are fully monetized and they have no limitations on our YouTube dashboard. So if you haven't seen any of my videos in the last few months, and this one pops up, it most likely will be because of that. I am not going to go into the whole drama and controversy of this feature because many YouTubers have already spoken about it. So I am just here to let you know that it exists and to please check. If it's turned on, just turn it off. That way you get to see the rest of my videos. And since we do not know what parameters the AI uses to label our videos for restricted mode, this video will be very tamed and also it will be very short, sweet, and simple. I am doing this to see if I can reach out to the audience that might have this turned on. Hopefully the AI will deem this as an okay video and it will let me out of restricted mode jail for the people that have it on and don't know that they had it. So please pause the video and check to see if your settings are turned off. This video will also serve as a second test. I asked you in my collections video to pick and choose the figures that you would think you would be interested in seeing me do a video about. I posted basically the entirety of my collection in that video. And to my surprise and astonishment, half of the comments were people screaming about the Land of the Lustrous figures that I had. It honestly caught me off guard because these are very simple characters. And I know by now that you guys love the complicated, complex, and madness-inducing figures. Still, this is the last video of the year. I wanted to paint something quick and fun, and well, here we are. So if you, my dear resin monkeys, my audience really is interested in watching me paint and make videos of these literal gems, now is a time to not only talk the talk, but walk the walk and show me with your actions. Now, a diamond's hardness is classified as 10. I think it would be a little unfair of me if I say, hey, give me 10,000 likes and I'll make more videos like this. So we're just gonna do 5,000. Half the effort. I will paint the rest of the figures from my collection of Land of the Lustrous only if this video reaches 5,000 likes, because that way I know that you guys are really interested in seeing these figures come to life. Because I honestly didn't really expect anybody to really say anything, especially because this series is very old. I'm talking about the anime series. The anime series is at least 10 years old, so for me that's old, but it turns out the manga recently finished, I think this year or last, so now I get it. Now I get it. And that means that I have a lot of reading to catch up. So show me that you're really interested in these figures to become videos in the future, because if not, I'll just end up painting them off camera sometime and just upload pictures one day when I finish them with no video in sight. And finally, if you registered for my 100K celebration giveaway from my previous video, be sure to stick around until the end to see who got to take home the Halot X1 bundle. All right, so enough yapping. I don't want the whole video to be about me talking on camera because, like I said, this is gonna be really short. So let's get cracking, shall we? Before we start, you know the drill. A quick wash and a scrub with some degreaser to remove any leftover mold release on the surface. I don't like to leave clear resin in there too much. Unlike regular resin, I just make sure to scrub those parts real quick and leave the others to soak overnight and then rinse off. She is indeed tiny. Her torso barely measures 6 centimeters. When working on such small figures, you'd think that it'd be easy, but in actuality, the difficulty elevates because you try to pack as much detail on that small of a surface. Pinning was very straightforward, only her tiny limbs needed some really small pins. Now she's sitting on a huge diamond, and I need to figure out where exactly I'll need to drill to secure her to it. Now I'm gonna say her is in several occasions probably throughout the video. I just want you all to know I know that they do not have a gender, but how else am I supposed to say I need to put it? I can't say it, I can't say they. I need to put they on. I'm sorry, I can't do that. So if I slip up and say she at some point, apologies, I know they're gems, okay? Just don't make a big fuss out of it. I originally pinned the clear hair with some 0.3mm wire, but that will change later on. I just wanted to see how everything looked fully assembled. I added some sticky tack to the surface of the diamond so it can help me in visualizing exactly in what spot diamond will be seated. See, this is what I mean. It becomes redundant, so I'm just gonna stick with her, she, whatever, okay? A tiny figure still needs some mustard. Great.
But I never.
Too early, huh? Could have waited. Just a little. Ugh, don't you just hate it when that happens? I'm smearing some Vaseline to make sure that the mustard won't stick to the sides and I'll be able to separate them once they harden. As you all know, I never like to leave gaps in any connections, even on such a small figure. And let's leave her stuck on some sticky tack so that the putty can harden in place. When cured, I make sure to remove the Vaseline with some isopropyl alcohol so that we won't get any paint peeling. We already had that in spades this year. I don't want to add this project to the pile. Then carefully grinding off any excess to sand smooth right after with some sanding sponges. Removing the seam lines from clear resin is always a challenge, but this time I'm basically polishing the entire piece so that the resin will look as clear as possible once a gloss sealer is applied. Polishing clear resin is a little tedious. You start with a 280 grit and then move up from there. I basically finish with a 1000 grit steel wool before literally polishing with a 2000 grit compound. There is a gap in the hair, and for that we're taking some UV putty to seal that gap off. Just like with the mustard, Vaseline helps to avoid the parts to permanently stick together. Then just sand off the excess and go all over, just as we did with the grits, which I could have done before I did this. But anyways, hindsight is 2020, I guess. To secure her to the diamond, I'm using some acrylic rods so that the middle ones won't look, it won't look strange, especially because of where they're being placed. I added a light layer of white primer off camera to all of the parts so that I can continue with sanding the rest of the seam lines on the body. There's not much to do really. I'm just making sure to scrape off and then sand smooth. There was a tiny air bubble on the arm, so I just took some CA glue to patch and sand off. Once all the seams were sanded, now we add the primer again where it's needed to cover the areas that were sanded, and then apply our first layer of white. And this is how she looks like, all patched up. I have something interesting planned for a base. I'm going to make it so that the diamond is coming out of a little grass hill. For that, I'm taking basically paper mache to make that a little patch of grass. I make sure to cover the diamond with some plastic wrap. I don't want that paper mache to stick to it in any way, shape, or form. And then just let it dry. The hair is, I think, the most important part of this figure. I think it's one of the main reasons many of you wanted me to paint one of these figures. Lots of you wanted to know how I would pull the diamond effect off, and let me tell you that the most complicated problems usually have the simplest solutions. I had this Angelina film confetti I got years ago just for this. The inside of the hair is basically smooth and contours to the shape of the head. What I did was just cut little shards to glue them from the inside with some UV resin. I was able to do this because there is a lot of wiggle room and I can take advantage of that to install it. I said it was simple, but it's very tedious because this is a delicate and slow process to cut and glue each shard to each strand of hair on the inside. But the results, I think, were very much worth it. There was still a large gap in between the inside of the hair and the head, and to keep that transparency, I'll be filling it with UV resin, making sure to add Vaseline to the head before I actually cure it. Then panic when I couldn't get the head out. It took a little bit of force, but I was able to pop it out. The primer got stuck in there, but we can wipe it off with some thinner. Doing this is kind of a gamble. You need to have plan B in case you get to a point of no return. Fortunately, it didn't happen today, so I didn't need it. And what's a diamond without rainbows? Oh yeah, baby, you know I just had to bring out the big guns for that effect. If you've been here before, you know what this is. And if you haven't and it's your first time, then I recommend you check out my Eternal Sailor Moon attack video to get the full explanation on how to use this technique. Just like with the Angelina film, this process was also tedious because I had to do it one face at a time. It's obviously not perfect, but it's worth it for the rainbow effect while still keeping all the transparency. The outfit they use is just black and white, dull and without any real shadows, but I will still give Dia a light shading because I don't want it to look flat. And to make the gloves look just a tiny bit different than the rest of the white, I'll add some pearl white to make them look like satin gloves. To try and paint the hair, I did some tests on some crystals I had to see how the paint would look. The anime makes her look like she has mostly green tones, even though she's a diamond. I did a coat of turquoise green and then added some yellow to the edges to see if it could look like the anime. After the test, I thought I could make it work, so I added the same paint to see what it would actually look like on the hair now. But instead of yellow, I'll be using some topaz gold for the tips. I wasn't fully convinced. I went back and mixed some clear green to the turquoise paint and covered the surface. Then to seal it off, I used some SMS Super Clear for a really glossy finish. Unfortunately, it wasn't doing it for me. It reminded me too much of Foss, so I decided to sleep on it and come back the next day to see if I really liked it or not. Then I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't even wait till the morning because this kept me up. And I just had to come back to redo everything. This time I picked Silver Pearl. It looks more like white than silver and it's clear too, so let's see how this one goes. The Angelina film is basically doing the heavy lifting with the diamond effect. So I'm just adding something on top to make it look a little whiter. I think that would help a bit better than the green. Not satisfied with that, I added a light layer of holographic paint, which is also clear. I think the result is a bit better overall. It's a shame that the camera can't really capture the effect because of the lighting, but when the Angelina film is not getting hit with the light, the hollow pigments are, and now I could finally go to bed. Masking was very straightforward, but tedious because of such a small scale. Like I said, the difficulty does ramp up when you're trying to work on really small surfaces. Someone asked me if I would ever consider painting a miniature. No, not my cup of tea, not now, not ever. Much respect to all of you that love to paint miniatures, that's just not for me.
Put it out, even though we're hurting. Let the flame fill the night. When we touch, then we ignite.
usually leave the face up for last, but due to what I have planned, I need to actually paint the eyes before I paint the skin, if you can call it that. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm doing a silver base to create the pupil first. Dia's eyes are very much stylized to look a ton like different colors. I honestly didn't want to try to even attempt to do that on such a small canvas, so I'm going with the next best thing, which is holographic powder. When you use this, it gets everywhere. This is why I didn't want to paint the skin first, because whatever gets stuck can easily be painted over. Once the iris was outlined, I grabbed a little star glitter I had and cut it to tiny bits to make it work as a catch light. And now we can follow up with the skin color. Powder color, skin color. They don't really have skin, it's just powder on them. We'll just call it skin. I'll be using my palest skin color, which is Notes Flesh White from Gaia Notes. I looked at the anime again and again, and the color of their body is not really fleshy, but more like white. Since they're gems, they just have, like I said, powder to protect them. It's all flat too, but I'll be adding just a tiny smidge of shadings because I can't do it that way. Sometimes anime accurate means boring in real life. All that's left is the black of their outfit. But again, since I don't want it to leave it flat, I'm adding some sapphire blue to just highlight it a little bit. And before sealing the skin with matte, I'm doing the outline of the eyebrows with the same silver I used for the eyes, because we're doing some more special effects that will go there as well as the lashes. Then we continue with the super simple sword that looks like it could break at any moment. A toothpick feels stronger than this right now. Finalizing with some green for the tiny base with big plans. Let's unmask and finish some detailing. To finish the face and head, I brought out some Aurora Iridescent powder to rub it on her eyebrows and lashes. Like I said, this stuff gets everywhere, so I'm making sure to clean up with some sticky tack. And now to fuse the hair pieces together using the same UV resin from before, being super careful to not go over. Let's quickly retouch some lines from the uneven masking. Since Dia's hair is constantly sparkling, those lights bounce on her shoulders, so I'll be using the same Aurora powder to make little gleams of light on her shoulders. And to finish off the base, I'm adding some fake grass because yes, that's how we do things here. Everything's fake. This might be a super simple base, but like I said, I have big plans for this. Now you're probably wondering why I decided to make such a simple and bland base for Diamond. Here's the thing, when I started collecting these figures years ago, I already had something planned for them. I planned to make a diorama display to put all of them together. So this tiny base that Diamond is sitting in will be part of a bigger base in the future. Now remember, that will only happen on video if we reach those 5,000 likes. If not, maybe one day you'll see it somewhere that I posted. But yes, that is the reason why we have such a tiny base, because I have big plans for the whole collection that I have. BioCreat was very generous to sponsor this giveaway. They have been nothing but supportive of my channel, and they wanted to help me to give back to my community for all the love and support that I have received so that I can reach that 100K milestone. So congratulations to CW Bao 2489 for winning this amazing bundle. I will shoot you an email to get your information so that we can get that little printer out for you so you can start your own 3D print adventure with the company of all my videos from the past. That way, you know how to use it. Thank you so much for all the support. It's been one heck of a year. I hope you not only enjoyed this video, but the rest of my projects that I did throughout the year. Even with all the fails, I still enjoyed doing them, and I had a ton of fun filming videos so that I can share them with you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and a happy new year to all of you, my dear resin monkeys. Thanks again for helping me get that. I'll see you next year. Bye.